actually in the oil and gas world is considered one of the companies is the leader in that space. So, and going to be talking about a very interesting use again of generative AI to help improve cybersecurity. I think this is one of the most interesting emerging trends that I see in the cybersecurity world these days. So please, I'm going to have him introduce himself rather than me just read a bio. So please welcome our next speaker.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joan Ruiz, and I am a system engineer manager at Fortinet here in the local team in Barcelona. So happy to be here. It's my fourth time speaking in this Congress. And today I'm going to be talking about threat-informed defense and also about the utilization of AI in different forms, such as machine learning or Gen AI, in order to build a more secure infrastructure for our end customers. As we all know, the threat landscape is getting complicated every day, so we see the abuse of Gen AI for advanced phishing techniques such as spear phishing, deep fakes, video calls with advanced threats. So we've acknowledged the utilization of artificial intelligence by the bad actors in order to build more sophisticated attacks, and this is seen in the field as we see in our attack records. In order to build an effective approach of security to your organizations, it's important to understand that every organization has a perimeter. So you have your devices, your servers, your computers, your OT devices, all connected to your network. And then you have a perimeter of exposed services to the outside, because if you want to deliver services, you need to expose them to the internet. Once you have information connected to the world, you are exposed to several potential attacks, such as abuse of misconfigurations, of vulnerabilities, of different types of attacks by threat actors, people that's leaking or stealing credentials, or have different purposes in order to damage your organizations. Let me quickly introduce FortiGuard Labs. FortiGuard is the heart at Fortinet. FortiGuard Labs was founded more than 20 years ago and is one of the largest threat intelligence services in the world. We're delivering millions of updates every day in order to deliver secure information to our appliances and security solutions in order to make our customers more secure. So we are creating malware lists, IPS lists for known attacks, detection of web filters, threat intelligence about what's happening in the dark web in order to allow our customers to build a structured approach to the protection. One of the things that we are most proud of is that if you want to build successful security, you need to collaborate. It's very important to share information between different organizations, and then the first block of this presentation, I'm going to be introducing some of the collaborations that Fortinet is doing with different organizations in the world. So we have different kinds of collaborations. For instance, we are collaborating with different enterprises, such as Microsoft, for instance, or Adobe, to share information and to build our products more secure, but also collaborate in different types of organizations, as the CyberSet Alliance, the FIRST, Mitre, or some organizations like security organizations like the NATO or Interpol, or different government-associated security infrastructures. One of the collaborations that we are proud of being a founder member is the Cyber Threat Alliance. Not sure if you all know about this. So the Cyber Threat Alliance, it's an association of different security vendors that are collaborating in sharing indicators of compromise and information about threats. And this enables Fortinet to share detected IOCs and provide them to other, even competitors, and we receive the same back forth, so we can make our products more secure. This includes hashes, URLs, command and controls, malware artifacts, but also information techniques and tactics and procedures that we provide with Enrich. Another initiative what Fortinet is collaborating, it's called the Atlas project at the World Economic Forum. World Economic Forum is an organization that's funding many initiatives. There is a specific cybersecurity track. In this one, we are collaborating with companies such as Microsoft, CrowdStrike, AWS, Accenture, Bank of America, Banco Santander in Spain. And all this initiative was started in 2020 when we started to discuss how can the security vendors collaborate in order to help pursue and stop the threat actors. So what we are doing in this group is investigating what the most dangerous threat actors are and collaborating with the security agencies worldwide to try to lock them down. And sometimes we are succeeding in trying to shoot down some of those actors. And then let me talk about the Threat Informants Defense Center at Mitre. So Mitre is a very well-known organization. Most of the people knows Mitre because of the Mitre attack framework. You know, this is a catalog with the TTPs, the tactics, techniques, and procedures that the bad actors are using to abuse the networks. But there are many more things that Mitre is doing in collaboration with multiple security companies. Fortinet is proud to be participating in different initiatives that I'm going to be introducing, such as, for instance, the Sightings Ecosystem Project, which tries to solve one specific issue. Once you have a collection of TTPs that the threat actors are abusing, then it's important to know which techniques are most used. What we are doing is ingesting a lot of data from our security appliances, trying to understand what the threat actors are doing. We are utilizing artificial intelligence in order to investigate our logs and provide actionable feedback so we can understand which are the techniques more utilized. So we frequently produce information such as this chart when you see which are the most commonly abused TTPs in the different phases of an attack. So if you take this information into consideration, you can build or you can focus on those techniques, tactics, and procedures that are mostly used, and if you can cover them better, you can have a more consistent security in your organization. As you will well know, a single advanced threat attack, it's not only using one single TTP. So normally, it's a combination of multiple techniques and attacks and phases that you need to understand. In order to provide a better feedback about what the threat actors do, what is the flow of the attacks, there is an interesting project that we are collaborating with Mitre in the Threat Informants Defense Center, which is Attack Flow Project. In the Attack Flow Project, what we are doing is trying to collect information to make better tools to understand which is the flow of the different TTPs that are utilized in different attacks. So the different companies can document the attacks, share that information, and understand, okay, I'm seeing this attack now, then I think what could be the next step. And if we have all that documented, we can understand better how to protect ourselves or maybe how to distinguish one threat actor from another. This is a part of a report. I will share a link later on if you want to download, which is an interesting observation. So we produce this kind of feedback every year. What we observed is that in 2024, more than 40,000 vulnerabilities were disclosed and documented with CVEs, 40,000. If we look into the bad actors, if you start to investigate in the hacktivist forums or dark web forums for cyber criminals, only very few of the published vulnerabilities were effectively discussed in those kind of forums. And then, if you go one step further and look into the exploitation stage, so which of those 40,000 vulnerabilities were effectively abused and exposed heavily, then you come up with a very short amount of vulnerabilities that were really critical. What if we could use machine learning or artificial intelligence to build models to predict if one vulnerability will be exploited or not? This is something that we are doing. There is an interesting project which is led by FIRST. FIRST is one security organization in the US, and Fortinet is collaborating with them, and we are working in what we call the EPSS system, so Exploit Prediction Scoring System. What is this? This is a mechanism that we are creating, and we are providing feedback as a vendor to the FIRST organization. We observed that less than 1% of the CVEs that are published will really be exploited in the field. So we're trying to look into the details, and once a new vulnerability is published, try to understand, is it going to be exploited or not? So in every threat intel document that we will publish, you will see here in this pentagon, we will see which is the CVSS score, or if it's being known to exploit this vulnerability or not, but also the EPSS score to prevent. So if you have a high score, it means that we are predicting that that vulnerability is going to be exploited very likely in the next 30 days. So this is a very good outcome of what we're building. Our threat intelligence service, the FortiGuard Labs and the FortiRecon, is constantly investigating what's going on. And if we see that things are going bad, we create this kind of reports, which we call the outbreak alerts. It's completely open. You can browse our web in the Fortinet site or in the FortiGuard Labs site. And then for every alert, we will inform which is the CVE that we are seeing, what's the criticity of those, if we see that this exploit is being abused by advanced threat actors or not, if there are darknet mentions, or if there is any available exploit in the field. So if we see this information, we can assume that this kind of attack is going to be very dangerous. In the outbreak alerts, this is information that we provide to our customers to build more effective defenses. You will see that always the same structure. So every time we see something that is going to be a big impact for customers, we publish an outbreak alert. An outbreak alert will include an overview of what is the situation, which is the vulnerability target, what is the background. Also, information of the analysis of our threat intelligence or some other sources that are delivering information about that kind of attack. And then we will provide potential solutions or tools that will help your SOC to prevent that kind of attack, including signatures for malware, IPS, web security, indicators of compromise, or some other tools to allow you to better respond. You will always see this kind of chart where you will see an evolution of the... It's not working very well, right? I didn't notice because I was looking to you. You see the IPs, indicators of compromise, and this kind of charts where you will see what is the trend of those attacks, if they are being exploited in the wild or not. But this is not just information that we are sharing on a web page, but also it's fully and natively integrated into our tools. So this is the foundation of enabling AI to be able to detect advanced threats and block it. What we are doing is, let me go back and explain, is, for instance, multiple products from Fortinet will include this information with a database of the outbreak alerts, and we include automatically the tools and the scripts to investigate about that new threat, to see whether or not that threat is happening in your network. Is there any evidence of exploitation? And we will also create automatic reports that you can just execute and create in minutes one report to investigate if that outbreak is happening in your network or not. If you look at the report of the Outbreak Alerts 2024, which was recently published, there are different takeaways which are quite interesting. So during 2024, we published 25 outbreak alerts for different types of massive attacks that were happening in the wild, and we were able to prevent more than 3 trillion intents of exploitation of organizations. So it's a huge amount of exploitations. If we look into the malware evolution, we also see that there is an increase in the Windows executables, scripts, and Office as the main type of exploitation. And we also mention some of the significant malwares that we will see that we're were more predominant during 2024. I let this slide in because it's so interesting to me that Spain is shamefully the leader in those two, and this is a global report published worldwide. So we saw this Ash Trojan malware and also PDF phishing attacks where Spain's one of the most abused countries with this kind of attacks. If you want to prevent advanced PDF phishing, you'll need AI tools in order to block that. We also publish information about the most predominant ransomware in the field, and sometimes if we see ransomware groups that are acting heavily, we publish specific or specialized reports on those. For instance, we saw the Akira threat actor ransomware, which was started happening in the summer of 2024, and it's been increasing in their attacks during the year. So now let's discuss about some AI-powered security tools that Fortinet is building to integrate that information into the different products and be able to deliver effective security. Fortinet is one of the largest security vendors in the security cyberspace, and we have a complete portfolio of solutions that can enable to protect your endpoints, protect your network, protect your data with advanced DLP, protect your cloud, protect your email and collaboration tools, and also the infrastructure of your perimeter of security with advanced tools. We build a fabric of products which is tightly integrated, and then an infrastructure of next-generation firewalls and different infrastructure devices to build a complete portfolio. All the tools of our portfolio can be integrated with a data lake, which is called FortiAnalyzer, and the FortiSIEM and FortiSOAR tools, which will receive all the logs and information from the different tools, and all those tools will be correlated on a single platform. What we did in terms of AI is we have been investing heavily in multiple technologies, and today we have documented more than 100 use cases of AI that's being utilized in Fortinet products, including machine learning and also Gen AI. The last advance that we did is called FortiAI. You will see it in the top. It's not a single product, but it's a technology which is being seamlessly integrating in multiple products of our portfolio. So today, you have generative AI for security integrated in the FortiManager, in the FortiAnalyzer, in the FortiSIEM and FortiSOAR, in the DLP solution, in the cloud protection solution, in the email protection solution, and it's coming to our FortiGate and to other products in the future as well. So what we are doing with this is enabling a new paradigm of security with native Gen AI introduced into the products. What we did is to train specialized security modules of AI. We are relying on public, well-known AI such as ChatGPT, but also building our own Gen AI in our data centers to deliver it centrally by Fortinet. If you want to take a look at the threat actors, one of the tools that is very useful is the FortiRecon. FortiRecon is a service delivered by Fortinet, which is doing a constant surveillance of the perimeter of the customer to evaluate the attack surface of the customer. So we're able to discover all the assets that the customers are presenting to the internet and disclose, is there any known vulnerability in those assets? Are any threat actors actually targeting that kind of vulnerabilities or services, and provide actionable feedback that can be very useful for organizations to know what they have and how could they be exploited. This service is not only looking into the attack surface, but also is looking into the dark web. So what we are doing is investigating hacktivist groups, dark websites for cyber criminals, and try to observe what's happening in the back or in the dark web in order to eventually deliver information with the information of the new threats that will be coming, so you can learn before it happens and take action to block those kind of attacks. This is one of the dashboards of the FortiRecon, where you can see that we are targeting cybercrime forum posts, ransomware forum posts, Telegram messages of specific cybercriminal groups, and we are looking into the most predominant threat actors or ransomware groups and see what's happening and provide context with actionable information. We can also take a look at what is the profile of risk, not only for your company, but also for your suppliers, which is also important to investigate. You need to take a look into the suppliers as well, because they could eventually be part of the supply chain attack in order to target your organization. So we can see if your suppliers are in high or low risk with the attack surface that they have. Another interesting approach that we are seeing very effective is try to simulate attacks or simulate vulnerabilities to attract the threat actors to some part of your network which is not the most critical. This kind of technology is called deception. With deception, you can fool your attackers, and they will think that they are targeting real systems, but in reality, they are targeting fake systems, and we are learning from the threat actors to understand what they are doing, and then we can effectively detect them in the early stage of an attack and contain automatically. One of the new updates that we introduced to this kind of technology is simulating the newest and latest vulnerabilities. So if we link up together, I was mentioning that we are looking into which vulnerabilities will be heavily targeted by the threat actors. What we are building now is a system that can simulate the actual systems with those vulnerabilities that we know that are being targeted by the threat actors, and then make them jump into the system so we can get them. This is very powerful and interesting. But we cannot stop or finish the conversation without talking about AI. And I was mentioning that this FortiAI is introduced in many products already in Fortinet. So I wanted to showcase a quick demo on that. As we mentioned, Fortinet is being utilizing different AI tools such as machine learning for more than 10 years now. And now we have a lot of patents related to AI applied to cybersecurity, and at least 42 different products from Fortinet have embedded AI tools into their systems with more than 100 use cases already documented. So this is a demo of FortiAnalyzer. It has the data lake of all the attacks, the information of the outbreak alerts that I was mentioning, and it has Gen AI tool natively integrated into the system. What you will see here is a demo where the SOC analyst will interact with the tool with voice, so you can speak to the voice. The return is not spoken, but for the sense of this presentation, it's computer voice generated, and you will see what we can do with this Gen AI.
Hi there. Please retrieve the incident for the slow server.
Hello, I found an incident related to the issue you mentioned. This incident, IN 00000011, involves the file backup server at IP address 172.16.88.23, categorized as malicious code with a high severity level. The reported issue is that the server is running slow. Would you like to check more details about this particular endpoint? I can provide additional information and offer a FortiAnalyzer playbook via FortiClient EMS connector for further investigation. Note, ensure that the FortiClient EMS connector is properly configured for seamless integration.
Yes, please run the FortiClient playbook.
So we are interacting with the tool, and the tool is using Gen AI to do the queries and the investigation of the attack.
172.16.88.23 is experiencing slowdowns, primarily due to the QCloud process consuming 98% of the CPU. Process details. In addition to QCloud, other processes like Apache, SSHD, etc. are also running on the server. Recommendations. Further checks on the IP 136.243.90.99 using FortiGuard and VirusTotal are recommended.
So the tool is recommending the next steps to the analyst.
Sounds good. Please investigate this public IP address.
The API is automatically investigating the
FortiGuard
API.
alert, threat, Monero.cryptocurrency miner, impact, network resource consumption, technologies involved, browser-based, network protocol, client-server, peer-to-peer, cloud-based, mobile device. Observed behavior, excessive bandwidth usage on default ports TCP/80 and TCP/443. Potential consequence, server slowness on 172.16.88.23 may be due to a Monero cryptocurrency miner. Recommendations. Immediate remediation steps are strongly recommended to address and eliminate this potential security threat. Credit, FortiGuard application control signature information, fortiguard.com/appcontrol/440.
So, the demonstration that you saw, the API is natively integrated into the product. So there are many use cases you can do, from investigation of events and threats to enrichment of those threats with external feeds of threat intelligence, and even create playbooks or contain the alerts, all triggered by the API and by this Gen AI assistant. You saw this demo in Forum Analyzer. It's already live. You can use it today. But as I mentioned, it's also integrated in many other products from Fortinet, such as the SIEM, the SOAR, the DLP solution, the FortiMail. So imagine all the power of automation that you can use with the Gen AI and in combination with the threat-informed defense in order to build more effective security. This is the last slide of my presentation, so just if you want to take some takeaways of ideas or things that I presented today, just remember this concept of CTEM, or Continuous Threat Exposure Management, which is a philosophy of doing several things, such as continuous attack surface monitoring to understand your perimeter and what is the risk that you can take. Risk-based threat prioritization, so understand of all those risks that you have, which ones could be more dangerous, so you need to take action faster. Also perform real-world emulation and adversarial behavior simulations to try to test your SOC and its efficiency. We saw some tools for breach attack simulation and deception, simulating the vulnerabilities in a non-critical area, and also automate everything you can and leverage the threat intelligence reports of the different vendors that can help you build a more efficient security. Last but not least, we saw a very powerful demo of how Gen AI can allow to automate and empower the SOC with many of the things that can be done already, but in a more modern and automatic way. So I hope you found this presentation interesting, and this is all by my side. You can take the reports I was mentioning in these two QR codes. One of them is the Outbreak Alert report, and the other one is the FortiGuard 2025 Threat Landscape, with what our threat analysts see that is coming next. Thank you so much, and this is all on my side.